It's Friday, fool, and you need this tool. Welcome back to the glorious episode of It's Friday, fool, you need this tool. My name is Kyle Voss, and on Fridays, I bring you a tool that I use here in this shop or that I've featured on this channel. So this week I bring you the English wheel. Irish wheel? English wheel. All right, so if you've been watching some of the videos, me working on the Bibster, you know that I got me an English wheel. Still trying to figure out how to use this thing. But yeah. Alright, so this is the 44-inch throat depth English wheel by MetalAce. They offer a couple different versions of this. They got the 44, I think they have one that's a little bit shorter, and then they have a couple signature series English wheels as well. An English wheel, in my opinion, is one of those tools that really depends on how you're gonna use it to figure out what kinds you need to buy, right? These things range anywhere from like, I don't know, 500 bucks up to $15,000 or something. I mean, there's a huge range of these machines, and what you wanna do and how much you're gonna do it really depends on the quality and style of machine that you need to get, at least in my personal opinion. All right, so let's back up just a step, kind of explain to you what an English wheel does if you don't know. Most people know an English wheel has an upper die and a lower die. It usually has several sets of lower dies. These lower dies have different radiuses to them. Depending on the curve that you're trying to create in a piece of metal, a piece of sheet metal, you use a specific lower die to try to achieve that. The upper die itself is flat. Right now I have a rubber band on this one, which is just used to try to achieve a different technique. But most of the time you're gonna get something like this. So this is just a piece of 063 aluminum, and it's got some crown to it. You can see that it's crowned this way and this way. And that's what an English wheel does. It just thins the metal. And in the process of thinning that metal, it stretches it. And when it stretches it, the metal has to go somewhere. And so it just goes up, makes a dome. And the more you thin it, the more you stretch it, the bigger that dome can get. And so you can really create some very intricate and neat shapes with just a simple tool like this. So kind of show what I'm talking about. This is your upper die. Like I said, this thing just has a rubber band on it. So underneath it, it is just a flat, round roller. Okay, then the lower, like I said as well, has a contour to it. They're all different. Each one has a different shape to it. They progressively get flatter as you go, so at the very end you have a completely flat die. And like I said, that's to basically create whatever kind of dome that you're looking for. I mean, there are some techniques where you're not even trying to make it dome. There's some other things you need to do, and that's where the flat die comes in. You're either just trying to stretch that metal or you're trying to flatten it in some form or fashion. So most of your wheels have like a quick release. Allows you to pull these things out pretty fast. It's just got a little axle inside. You can kind of just snap these things in and out. Back to work. Ready to switch it out. Just drop it down. You can pull it right back out and go get another one. Most of them also have some kind of adjustment. So as you spin this, it'll actually make that die go up and down. So you can adjust how much these two dies are gonna squeeze that metal. And then on this particular one, it has a lock. So once you kind of get it adjusted, you can actually lock this thing down. It has some adjusters underneath and up top. All of these are for tracking. You can basically make these wheels track any way you need to. You don't want the metal to automatically run one way or the other. You can kind of flatten these things out and get them adjusted for your needs. So this particular die set is a 3-inch wide upper and lower die, and the upper die is an 8-inch diameter. Typically what you'll see is they start off at like 2 inches wide and kind of go up from there. And you can get them really big, you can get them really wide. The material that the dies are made of changes. As they get a little more expensive, the dies get harder and are less prone to scratching, and they stay polished very well. Really the last thing that you're gonna see in English wheels, the differences I guess you're gonna see in English wheels, is the frame structure itself. So like I said, this one is 44 inches across, and you can kind of see how it has been reinforced to try to maintain this squeeze over here on these dies. What you'll see is some of the frames, you know, just one piece that goes around. Some have some kind of structure. Some of them are very thick, made out of plate steel. You're gonna see a bunch of different English wheels out there. As a matter of fact, some of the older ones actually have a shaft that runs through that attaches to the wheel itself. And like I said, it goes back to what it is you're trying to do with this machine. If you're trying to do very thick sheet metal, you're doing a lot of bead rolling, doing a lot of English wheeling. If you're trying to shape a lot of metal, you probably want something that's a little more robust. It's gonna work a little better. If you're just wanting to play around in your garage and you want to make one little piece of whatever every once in a while, then you may not need something like this. You can go with something that's a little more affordable. Typically what you see in these things is when you spend a little more money, you usually get a better, bigger die set. That's usually the biggest difference besides maybe the structure itself. So as you go up in price, you're gonna see a more robust structure. Usually gonna see bigger wheels. The wheels get wider, they get bigger in diameter. It's gonna be a little more accurate, it's gonna be a little bit easier to roll, and you're gonna be able to do bigger panels, you're gonna be able to affect panels faster maybe. All right guys, there you go. This week's tool, the English wheel. Like I said, these things come in a huge variety of styles and sizes and price ranges. I'll throw some links in the description, you can go check them out. I'll try to get you something in every range. Maybe like a starter wheel, something like this, and then maybe like a Mac Daddy, one still in England. As always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys some more this week. It's Friday, fool!